Going into this NHL season, the New York Rangers definitely seem to have no intention of being a potentially kind of non-playoff team and definitely expected to be more than likely one of the top teams once again in the entire NHL like they were last season, making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, losing in Game 6 there to Florida, and also winning the President's Trophy. So this was a team who definitely were looking to kind of continue that success into this season as well, and it did not happen, and they also made it known clearly that they wanted to go out there and kind of make a big splash trade and really kind of add a star caliber player, which they ended up doing by acquiring JT Miller from the Vancouver Canucks, and so far, I think that's looking like a pretty solid trade and definitely could end up helping this team in the very near future and also potentially a few years down the line as well, as he still is locked up on a fairly long-term deal. But now you have this upcoming offseason where the Rangers are more than likely going to be looking to kind of make some more big moves to add to this squad that already is looking like a, I would say, improved team on paper, at least from the beginning of this season, you could say. And throughout this upcoming offseason, there is going to be one free agent in particular that is going to have the attention of pretty much every single NHL team, and that is going to be Mikko Rantanen, who has been in some sort of a way kind of linked to the Rangers. So that's kind of what we're going to take a look at in today's video, is take a look at what this NHL insider had to say about the New York Rangers, kind of linking them a little bit to Mikko Rantanen. And this is not a concrete link where they're saying the Rangers are going to be, 100% kind of heavily locked in on Mikko this offseason, but they do kind of link him, and obviously pretty much every NHL team that, is able to kind of create enough cap space potentially to sign him is going to be talking to him, I'd imagine, right? This is a true kind of superstar, top-end kind of talent level of a guy, right? This is someone who can easily put up well over a point per game, 90, 100 kind of point seasons fairly consistently, right? So this is obviously an elite talent, and if he actually does end up hitting free agency, I think this would be the perfect player for the Rangers to target heavily and try and make the kind of franchise player of the New York Rangers. And you have a guy like Foxy, you got a guy like Rantanen, let's say, if you kind of add him in there. And right now, Panarin, sure, he's here, but he only has one more season left under contract after this season. So his massive contract goes away. And when you consider how much Rantanen is going to get on his next deal, probably something around that, let's say like kind of $13, $14 million mark, at most, you're kind of going to be paying kind of what Panarin's making right now, plus at most like an extra $2.5 million. So I don't think that's necessarily bad at all. So for one season, you're going to have, let's say hypothetically, that Rantanen and Panarin kind of cap hits, on the books, but that's only one season there. You can make it work. And, after Panarin's big deal is done, only paying an extra kind of 2.5, let's say, on top of Panarin's deal for a guy like Mikko long term, I think that's going to look like a really good deal hypothetically because of with where the cap's at, and it's kind of been kind of getting stuck and not really going up a ton with Panarin's deal over the last kind of while. His contract didn't have that kind of nice kind of end to it where you kind of hoped it would get to when he obviously originally signed it, because no one would have expected that many years of kind of the cap not really going up at all, right? So now you have that cap kind of skyrocketing up with Mikko signing his deal right now when that cap skyrocketing up a ton over the next few seasons. His contract could end up looking pretty solid at, not that terribly far away in the future. So I really do think that Mikko's deal, whatever he gets paid, if it is that 13, 14 mil mark, it's not going to look that bad. I mean, some fans may be a little worried, but I really don't think that would be too harmful for the cap. And with what Panarin's making right now, it's not a whole lot more. And Rantanen definitely still can sign that extension with Carolina, but assuming he doesn't, and with the way he's kind of started off with them, only having 2 points in 6 games played, maybe they don't end up, getting that extension done and they just can't come to terms on an actual deal. And, if he doesn't kind of pick up his game there, that might make things only a little harder to kind of get done as well, which would only kind of go in the Rangers' favor. And maybe they kind of look to flip him as well to another team and they get an extension done, let's say. But I think overall that if the Rangers could end up seeing kind of him just leave Carolina in free agency for nothing and end up signing with the Rangers, that would be pretty amazing. Just kind of steal him away from them as well. It would just be an extra kind of bonus on top of signing Rantanen, would be kind of taking him away from Carolina. So hopefully, something like that would happen there where he does kind of hit free agency. Rangers can sign him because I truly do think he could be that kind of truly franchise-changing player for this team. You have guys like Foxy, Shesterkin, and obviously maybe Panarin still. Maybe he's comes back around, but Lafreniere, Cooley, obviously JT Miller, Trocheck, so many great, talented players that I think you could really start building a great core guys here around Igor, who was obviously the MVP when it comes to playoffs there from what we've seen. But if you can start to build that really great kind of roster around him and have that elite goaltender also, that's where we could really potentially see some great playoff success from this team and possibly end up seeing that cup, which we ultimately all want to see. And now taking a look here at what they had to say in the article, and then we'll also take a look at the quote from Elliotte Friedman. But in the article, they end up saying Mikko Rantanen is set to become a free agent this summer, and the New York Rangers could look to pursue the superstar forward. Rantanen was traded from the Colorado Avalanche to the Carolina Hurricanes, but he's still yet to sign a contract extension. There has been a lot of buzz around whether or not a deal is actually going to get done and whether or not the Canes could look to flip him at the deadline, before it obviously kind of ends, and they can't trade him because they could possibly end up losing him for nothing in free agency if they cannot end up kind of getting him extended or possibly obviously re-sign him this upcoming offseason. So the Canes may get a little worried and look to flip him, which is definitely a scenario that could end up happening. And now we've got a quote here from Elliotte Friedman where he ends up saying, "Teams will make room for this guy," Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman said. If they have a feeling that he's going to come to them, the New York Rangers, Toronto, it won't just be teams with a lot of cap room. It'll be teams saying, like, okay, if I have to move a mountain to get Mikko Rantanen, we're going to try to do it. And that makes sense. I mean, because when you have a guy like that that is able to hit free agency, and if you have the chance to possibly get him, you got to try. And obviously, there were similar things that, happened with Panarin, where there were a lot of teams, obviously, that were looking to sign Panarin, and a lot of teams were trying to do whatever they could to end up getting him. And ultimately, the Rangers kind of won that battle, and hopefully the Rangers can do so once again. And I really do think it would just work out perfectly to go from Artemi Panarin and that superstar kind of guy that we signed in free agency and then move on right over to a guy like Mikko Rantanen. That would just be a seamless kind of swap, in my opinion. And Mikko is a guy who I think when he's at his true peak, definitely you could say is a better player and an all-around kind of more complete player than someone like Artemi Panarin as well. So I think Mikko can really possibly take this team to the next level and could end up being that really kind of big contributor to the playoffs, not just in the regular season like Panarin's been, because come playoff time, a guy like Mikko Rantanen has truly been someone who has just consistently got the job done. And, some people may say, hey, he has played with a lot, obviously, with a guy like Nathan MacKinnon, who was a true superstar. It's him and McDavid, the top two best players in the world. But I think that he has proven it enough that without MacKinnon, he can get the job done for the most part. And like I said, if you can get this level of guy in free agency where you don't have to give up, a Lafreniere, a couple high-tier draft picks, a couple high-tier prospects, you only have to give that cap space, which is going to be going up a ton over the next coming season, especially once Panarin's cap it comes off the books there. So really and truly, that extra $2.5 million, let's say you have to give, compared to a guy like, Panarin's contract, if you can get, a guy like Rantanen on that, Panarin's deal plus 2.5, I truly think it is worth it to get that deal done and could end up being a major thing for this franchise. And some more quotes here from the article as they end up saying, this comes weeks after ESPN's Emily Kaplan reported that the Rangers are hungry to make a big splash. Quote, "We just know it's in the nature of the New York Rangers and a James Dolan-owned team to always go after the big splashes. Any of these top names that you're going to see available this summer or next, whether it is Mitch Marner, Mikko Rantanen, or Jack Eichel." And any of those players I think would make a lot of sense, but in my opinion, I think the most likely scenario or the most likely player to kind of come into the Rangers out of these three is going to be Mikko Rantanen. I think with Mitch Marner, I don't see him not being a Leaf, in my opinion. I also think with Jack Eichel, he's probably going to end up just staying with the Vegas Golden Knights there. I highly doubt he goes anywhere else. Both the wait and see thing could definitely change, and they've obviously signed a lot of guys and had a lot of big contracts, but they'll somehow figure out a way, I'm sure, to keep Eichel, I'd imagine. And Mikko Rantanen, I think with him possibly hitting free agency this upcoming offseason and it being a season where the Rangers, or offseason, sorry, where the Rangers are really looking to kind of make another huge, massive kind of move, going after a guy like Rantanen could make a lot of sense for this team. And, it being, New York City, the Big Apple, all that kind of stuff there, being such a big market, such a historic franchise, being able to give them kind of all the, the bonuses and all that kind of stuff that players want as well, possibly, to kind of help get those negotiations along as well. Just all those kind of things go in the Rangers' favor when going after these big free agents. So I think if he gets there, the Rangers definitely have a not good chance or a decent chance, but have one of the kind of better chances you could say around the NHL to possibly end up locking up Mikko Rantanen in the long term, who I truly do think could end up being that franchise-changing player. And that's going to do it for today's video, though. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. So if you are a New York Rangers fan, this is the perfect place to be. And also, definitely comment down below your thoughts. I know this is a bit of a stretch, maybe, and it definitely is not likely to see the Rangers end up locking up a guy like Rantanen long term, but I think they're going to be a team looking to kind of once again be involved in these kind of big kind of moves, whether it is, a trade or a signing. They're going to be looking to make another kind of big splash thereafter, getting a guy like JT. I don't think they're done, and I think they're looking to make another kind of big move or two, and Mikko Rantanen very well kind of being that player. So let me know your thoughts on possibly seeing the Rangers add him this upcoming offseason, and also let me know your thoughts on what other player you think the Rangers should be targeting, kind of a star, superstar kind of player. Is there other names like a Mitch Marner do you think is a realistic option? I don't necessarily think so, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll catch you next one. Let's go Rangers.